Hi, Roger Hill, VELCO Weather Hazards Forecaster. This VELCO Weather Outlook and this weather video is driven by 802cars.com. They represent 802 Toyota, Twin City Subaru, and 802 Honda, all located off of Exit 7 on Interstate 89. For this VELCO Weather Hazards Outlook, showery weather with a weak thunderstorm threat is going to be with us over the next 3 days. This will eventually dry up as good project weather develops from about Sunday through Wednesday next week, thanks to a big, large, sprawling area of higher pressure that'll build in. Leftovers of IRMA'S moisture was most likely to arrive after this period. That would be late this next week with just showers. Overall weather pattern, excepting daily showers and isolated thunderstorm threat, looks fairly quiet for the area utilities thanks to high pressure building in late this weekend and into next week. Just some minor concerns with some isolated thunderstorm activity that's developing over those areas that are seeing a little bit of sunshine is in the upper levels it's very cold aloft. Of course, the big story here is Category 5 IRMA. Currently we have a recon going through IRMA, and here is the track keeping Category 5 status. Roughly as it gets a little bit north of interacting with some of the higher mountains of Cuba, this is going to knock it down about a category around 4, and it looks like the latest National Hurricane Center tracking map takes it very, very close to Miami, maybe just a little bit east of Miami, and then up the eastern coast of Florida with some sort of a landfall either in a little bit north and east of Savannah, southwest of Charleston, generally in this particular area here. From there, IRMA really doesn't go up the eastern seaboard, which is very important for our neck of the woods here, but instead we're looking at a tropical depression over the southern Appalachians where it's eventually going to rain herself out, and then leftovers will eventually drift very late in the week, next week, across and toward the northeast United States. No big deal. And roughly by around 18Z or 2 o'clock Thursday afternoon, you're seeing showers off to the west of Vermont, as this upper level trough has a lot of cold air, so we're seeing instability showers. But then it pretty much flares up and then falls apart, with the Champlain Valley being in the main location for any kind of thunderstorm activity. They'll be isolated. They could produce some small hail as it's relatively cold aloft. Wet bulb zero temperatures are relatively low, so that usually indicates some pea-sized hail. And we'll do a repeat of that, it looks like, during the afternoon again on Friday. It does kind of fall off in the evening hours, and we get some dry nights ahead. And then one more time, it looks like over Saturday, that falls off, and then we're looking at high pressure building in for what should be a very nice stretch. And that stretch of weather goes right through, it looks like, probably into Wednesday evening before the leftovers of IRMA begins to affect us. This is Hurricane Jose, which should be no factor. So as odd as the threats are with the tropics right now, and everybody's watching IRMA and its devastation, we're looking at some pretty fine weather here in our neck of the woods for a very quiet period. Again, isolated thunderstorms are the only issue, and it looks like mainly just lightning strikes, no other utility issues at all. This is the GFS ensemble. So you can see just little minimal amounts of showers. This is this afternoon, Thursday afternoon. This is Friday afternoon, and probably one more afternoon on Saturday, and then dry weather until the remnants of IRMA get in the picture here. Not a big deal. Accumulated precipitation over the course of the next 7 days from the Weather Prediction Center. This is IRMA. And in our location, we're looking at anywhere from a quarter to about a half-inch of rainfall. Not a big deal at all. In terms of temperatures, we're looking at a dip. And the coolest day will be along about Saturday. And then on Sunday, we'll start to see that temperature begin to moderate back upward. And some indications we might even making a run toward 80-degree temperatures here with some excellent weather. So something to look forward to here. A little bit of summer in our sort of early autumn weather that we've been experiencing. If anything, cooler than normal, so this will feel pretty nice. High temperatures as they're maxing out during the next 5 days. Overall, neutral, cooler to our south, a little bit warmer to the northeast, and especially the heat wave continues, unfortunately for them, in the northern areas, the northwest especially, where their fires and smoke is just unbelievable. 3 days later, just about the same situation. Not a lot of changes going on in the Pacific Northwest or out in California. It remains cool, mostly rain-cooled air, and again, a little bit to the warmer side to our north and east. And for those of you interested in Irma and where Irma is headed, this is the European model. This gives you a pretty good idea. First of all, this is Katia. Haven't talked about Katia. It's going to go back into Mexico. This is Jose, and this is Irma. It's scooting north at this point. And you can see now we're at during the day on Friday into Friday afternoon. And as we get into Saturday, it starts to approach just north of Cuba, approaching the Florida Straits. Look for a right turn. That should be happening roughly during the day on Saturday. All too important to watch Irma on Saturday as it approaches the Florida Straits to the southwest of Nassau. It's going to make a right northward turn. This is Saturday evening. Now we're into the overnight period on Sunday. And it looks like we make landfall in the vicinity of Miami, maybe just a little bit east of Miami according to the latest National Hurricane Center track. Then up the coast toward Palm Beach, Melbourne, Cape Canaveral, east of Daytona, eventually east of Jacksonville on the weak side there. Continuing along, this is now Monday afternoon. Looks like landfall somewhere in the vicinity of Savannah, Georgia, according to the European model. National Hurricane Center track is a little further to the east of that. And then Irma begins to rain herself out. And what we're also showing here is wind gusts currently. Now, the leftovers of Irma will eventually make it into Vermont, but not until somewhere along about Wednesday night or Thursday, just beyond this weather hazard outlook period. This is Jose, just to carry this a little bit further. Jose does a loop-de-loop and then makes a run toward the Florida Straits, but anything can happen, and this is much more uncertain. But as you can see, Jose has got an eye, and it powers up fairly significantly. That's it from here, Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights.